Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve podcast takes a close-up look at controversial subject matter and hot-button topics, adding humor, cynicism, and a dose of reality to the stuff we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Politics, religion, sex, gender identity, violence, corruption. Nothing is left unturned in this lighthearted approach to information dissemination. The world is experiencing a pandemic of cowardice. 80% of people do not believe the craziness they've been coerced to agree with. Grab a friend, grab a beverage, and dive in with us as we take on the narrative and blast social stigmas with truth. Here are your hosts, Patriots Ray Amanat and Steve Reed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at, out in social media land or blog land. If you're tuning in to our video or listening to our audio, welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. I'm Ray Amanat, based out of sunny Port Richey, Florida, and my co-host, Mr. Steve Reed, coming to us from an undisclosed location somewhere in northern Texas. Welcome, comrade, to our communist society here. Our country is turning into a communist society. So, comrade, how are you?
I am doing very good. I don't know what accent that is, but I'll yet.
My Russian accent is not so good.
Yeah, give me a heads up next time, and I'll come up with a bogus. Yeah, I'll give a bogus accent of some sort. So, how's Ray today?
I am doing wonderful. As always, physical therapy is moving along, and I'm starting to be able to jog or run. It's not a very pretty sight, but hey, I'm actually doing it now. Before it's like I had to reteach myself how to walk, and now I got to reteach myself how to run. So
Understand? I can totally, completely relate to you. In fact, when I walk, it's not a pretty thing. Yeah, it's not pretty at all. I'll just leave it at that.
well, we'll just call you Igor.
Igor or Gimpy or Chester. Chester, remember the old TV show Gunsmoke with his sidekick Chester? So I could be
that was
like Chester.
My time, but yes, I
Well, it's on reruns, buddy.
Show.
Yeah, it's on reruns. So anyway, that was probably one of the longest running TV shows of all times. It was an excellent, excellent show. So anyway, and you know what was great about the show? It was an opinion-based show, and it was all about what Matt Dillon's opinion was, and much
Just
like. Yeah, pretty much. So much like Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve, it is our opinions, and we are not saying that we have the same opinions as our sponsors, affiliates, or guests, friends, etc. But it is a fact-based program based on our opinions, or an opinion-based program based on our facts, whatever the case.
Based on our research that
our
we
research,
do,
yes.
Based on
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. Some of the research that we're doing, it's coming from people that are not fact-based. They're all fake news. So it's like, well, we're going to be reporting some more fake news to you, coming to you by CBS, NBC, CNN, and all the other.
You know, it's funny, Ray. I was listening to Dan Bongino a couple of days ago, and he says this frequently. He says, I'm having a major problem. I'm running out of conspiracy theories because all of them keep coming true. So, and that is so true. There's so many, just bizarre things that are coming out that, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, you would have scratched your head. That is so full of, but it's so full. Ray, before I go any further,
there you go. I'll help you out there. This is a family show. We wanna have kids be able to listen in and have
Ray.
Sorry.
Ray, my understanding is you found a couple of new regular friends that are going to be joining us on our broadcasts on a weekly basis. So why don't you introduce our new friends?
Well, we're going to be doing the taboo talk with Ray and Steve. Wake the cluck up, America. We're going to try to make that a tour, and we would love somebody to make a T-shirt that says "Wake the cluck up" with our little friends here. A chicken. And I got one for you, Steve, that I'll be sending you.
I am
Sounds a little bit more vocal. I don't know.
I am so touched.
So those of you that can't see, these are kind of a couple rubber chickens that I found in the pet area. But I want these puppies on a T-shirt. Wake the cluck up, America. We've gone from a majestic eagle to our country has turned into a bunch of chickens.
Ray, you're not going to wake those puppies up because they are chickens. They're chickens, Ray.
Wake the cluck up.
I know, but you said you're going to wake these puppies up, but those aren't puppies. Those are chickens.
They're chickens.
Golly, man.
They're I don't know. They might be trans. I don't know. They might be a he, she. But we do have to name them. And to our viewers out there, if you want to kind of,
you know what,
name our chicken.
Ray, that's a great idea. We need to have a chicken naming contest.
It's a gender reveal. It's a chicken, so it's female. But we need our viewers to name our chicken.
Oh, Ray, you are just too much. Thank you so much. So anyway, and you know what, Ray, before we go any farther, people can find us on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, but they can also find us syndicated on OBBM Network, on all the major podcast networks. So make sure you tune in and subscribe to the OBBM Network so you can get updates on us on a regular basis. But also you can subscribe, you can like, send us an email. And Ray, where would they send us an email? They would send us an email to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve at gmail.com. So,
thank you for that.
Ray, what else are we talking about today?
I don't know. There's so much happening in the news, like violence in Chicago.
Oh, come on, Ray.
Oh my gosh, so much violence. But before we go to the violence in Chicago, let's talk about how people can be heroes for themselves so that they know how to deal with the violence in Chicago.
Are you telling me it's time for our first commercial break already?
Yes.
Here we go.
Hi, welcome to Heroes in Action. I'm Ray Amanat, founder and creator of this training system. I originally made it so that everyone can train for free. We have programs for kids, for women, families, and businesses. I'm an author, speaker, and educator on everything that has to do with violence and bullying prevention education. If you'd like more information about who we are and what our programs are, please go to our website at heroesinaction.us or give me a call if you have any questions at 727-314-2534. We hope to see you here to train.
So Ray,
I've seen so many videos on the news, on Facebook, on YouTube, what's going on in Chicago and what's going on in New York, where the violence is continually rising.
Yep.
People are not afraid of the law anymore, and it's lawlessness. It's turning into the OK Corral back in the Western years.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's not like that.
It's getting close.
Yeah, okay. So we need not Marshall Dillon. We need Wyatt Earp and his brothers and Doc Holliday. Yeah. So okay. Well, why don't we share something from Epoch Times as Roman is talking about some of the stuff in Chicago.
Weekend, the floodgates opened up over in Chicago, where you had literally hundreds of teenagers take over the streets of downtown and go utterly wild, vandalizing property, setting cars on fire, looting, and firing off guns. which is a bit weird because guns are generally illegal in Chicago. Regardless, before we dive into the footage from this weekend, I'll mention, in case you're not aware, that Chicago is one of the most dangerous cities in the entire world. And certainly, it's one of the most dangerous cities here in America. In fact, for the past 11 years running, Chicago has been named the murder capital of the U.S. In fact, last year, in 2022, they had nearly 700 homicides in the city, despite the fact that the population there is just 2.6 million. Compare that to New York City, which has a population of 8.4 million, meaning it's about 3 times larger, but New York City only had 438 homicides last year. And I do say only with air quotes because New York City is also getting more and more dangerous. But that comparison still really illustrates the point. Chicago is in a league of its own. In fact, when you do the math, you find that the per capita murder rate in Chicago is roughly 25 homicides for every 100,000 residents. And when looked at globally, this makes living in Chicago similar to living in Mexico, Colombia, or Guatemala. Even the Central African Republic, which is so dangerous that the State Department currently has a do not travel advisory warning against it, well, their murder rate is actually significantly lower than that in Chicago. And it's worth mentioning that the homicide rate is oftentimes a proxy to measuring other things, such as general lawlessness. And so, along that line, as we mentioned at the top of the episode, on Saturday evening, hundreds of teenagers wreaked havoc in downtown Chicago by smashing car windows, destroying both public as well as private property, setting cars on fire, and they even attempted to enter Millennium Park, which then prompted a significant police response. There was even a shooting amongst this chaos that resulted in multiple injuries. You had 2 teenagers that were wounded by gunfire near the corner of Madison and Michigan. Thankfully, though, they were not killed. However, these problems, all of these homicides, the violence, the burglaries, the shoplifting, and the general lawlessness, well, they're destroying Chicago's prospect for turning things around. That's because after years of enduring all these problems, including a district attorney who, funny enough, refused to prosecute shoplifters if they stole below $1,000 worth of merchandise, well, many companies are just packing up and leaving. Tyson Foods, Boeing, Caterpillar, Citadel, Highland Ventures, they're all moving out of state. And it's not only the white-collar jobs, because you also have giant retailers like Walmart closing half of their Chicago locations. You have Target closing 2 locations, Whole Foods closing 1 location, and also you have Macy's, Old Navy, Uniqlo, The Gap, Timberland, Banana Republic. All these retailers are closing down shop and moving out of the city, which is naturally enough understandable, but it's also unfortunate, because this is essentially the exact point where the city enters a self-perpetuating feedback loop. Broke people without career prospects shoplift with impunity, the local officials refuse to fix the problem, and the businesses, tired of being robbed for many years on end, leave the area, which makes the people who are left in the area more broke and with even less career prospects.
Ray, that's insane.
That's sad. And I want to add to that, I saw earlier today that the Chicago Police Department were escorting people that are what's the word I'm looking for? They're vacationers, they're
tourists.
The tourists.
Yeah.
They were escorting tourists to their cars. So they now have to add that to their job description of not just keeping the safety of the people in Chicago, but, well, hold on, let me walk you to your car. That's how bad it's gotten.
Ray, maybe you should consider moving up to Chicago with your self-defense business. You would never run out of prospective clients.
Well, no, those clients are running out of Chicago.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. They're moving to Florida.
They don't want. Yeah, it's funny because the government is making self-defense look bad. Like if I were to defend myself, they're going to side with the person that was attacking me, with the criminal, as opposed to siding with me, a person that wants to defend myself.
Ray, it all goes back to politics. Let me rephrase. We've got the issue of fatherless homes. That's a rampant thing. But you've got a mindset in the homes where if you don't have discipline of the home, then it's going to spill out in the street, and the kids are going to get involved in gangs and so forth, all of that stuff. But it goes back to politics in many ways, because based on the report that we just heard, they're not even prosecuting somebody for petty
Shoplifting.
theft.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so wait a second. If I owned a business and you come in and let's say 5 people come in during the course of a week and they steal $1,000 worth of my merchandise, that's 5 grand. Am I going to be in business for much longer? No.
You look at a shoplifter, it's like, okay, I steal a candy bar. I don't get caught. All right, well, what else can I steal?
Yeah.
I steal some electronics. I don't get caught.
Yep.
What else can I steal? It gets to a
exactly.
point where they're stealing cars and then they're breaking in their homes and you're dealing with home invasions.
Yeah.
It's a drug that, oh my gosh, I got away with this.
Yeah.
What else can I get away with?
Yep.
Because their endorphins are going and it's like, it's a rush. You see all those kids that are out there,
Yeah.
and a lot of them are just laughing at seeing other people get vandalized, burglarized,
Yeah, they don't care.
and assaulted.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't
it-
care.
it-
It's
it-
empowering to them. It's a staple for them, a badge of honor for them. And how do you fix that?
two things. Number one is 80 years ago, listen to me, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, shoplifting was a lot more difficult than it is today for electronics because you had console TVs instead of
Right.
flat screen TVs, and you ain't shoplifting a console TV. So that's number one. But something that you probably won't hear is somebody shoplifting in a gun store in the South.
No.
Because everybody in the store is armed. Everybody. And probably with 2 or 3 weapons. So,
Absolutely.
oh, craziness. Ray, what in the world is this world coming to? It's
Well,
insane.
like I said, it's the government is tying the hands of civilians where they're actually siding with the criminal. They're letting them run the streets wild. They're not prosecuting them. And if a civilian tries to stand up for themselves, defend themselves, if they use a firearm or if they use any other tool, then they're the ones that are demonized.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes my job hard because now people are afraid to learn how to protect themselves with self-defense because they're afraid of being demonized by their local government, and they're the ones that go to jail.
Exactly. Well, speaking of self-defense, probably one of the most important things we have to consider is our physical self-defense. And the way to do that is by encouraging your stem cells to wake up and come back to life. So, Ray, check this out.
We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy our later years full of energy, vitality, and good health. But so often with age, our bodies start to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing and recovery time, sleep, it all just seems to go downhill. Introducing LifeWave X39, the world's first product ever to activate stem cells. A true breakthrough in regenerative science that helps restore our bodies to a healthier, more youthful state in a way no other product can. No drugs, no injections, no kidding.
So, Ray, this is what the stem cell patch looks like. You can see it's wafer thin. It is what they call a non-transdermal patch. Yes, and that is nothing to cluck about. And you just peel off the backing, you stick it on your body wherever, and it activates your stem cells. But Ray, I want to share a little story with you. A friend of mine, I'm gonna call her Janet. Janet was very patriotic. I know that because she served for many years in the United States Air Force, and she was stationed at one point in time in Kuwait as a nurse. And when they started blowing up all of the chemical plants, those fumes started going into Kuwait. She came back after her service there and she had developed Gulf War syndrome and was in pain constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 30 years. She started using the patches, and within only 4 days, she was out of pain. Now, Absolutely. So that's the kind of success that we're having. No guarantees. We don't claim to cure anything of that sort. But I will tell you, there are so many anecdotal stories. I've got my own stories, but there's so many different ways that people are benefiting from the activation of their own stem cells.
So, Steve, let
Tell me.
our listeners and our viewers know how they can. It's kind of like the lottery. You can't win if you don't play. Well, if you don't try the stem cell therapies, you don't know if it's going to help you or not. How can they get a hold of you so they can get a sample?
Well, they can go to my website and they can look at information there. It's www.lifewave.com/Stephen Reed, and that's STEPHENREED. Or you can send me an email, and the email address is info@StephenReedMinistries.com. I really look at this as one of the many ministries that I am personally involved with. So Ray, I'm gonna while you're talking for a second, I'm gonna put another trailer up here. So talk so I can focus here for just a brief
So,
moment.
as far as the LifeWave patches, I'm also somebody that has used them to help recover from my surgeries and from a lot of the other stuff that I have going on with me from the years of boxing, kickboxing, and martial arts. And it does make a difference, everybody. Uh, uh, you just got to get a hold of Steve or myself
Yep.
and give it a try. And just reach out to us. You can even reach out to us on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Just comment or message us, and we'll get a hold of you and take you through everything that LifeWave has to offer.
And Ray, I just put one other website up here. It's https:// startx39now.com. There is a ton of fabulous information on that website. So reach out. We'd love to help you. But Ray, something I forgot to do earlier is I forgot to put your contact information related to Heroes in Action. So Ray, tell our audience. I know, my bad. I made a mistake. Yes, Ray. That's my mistake for the day. So actually for the week. So tell everybody your email address.
So email, you can get a hold of me at ray@heroesinactionnow.org. That's HEROESINACTIONNOW.org. As a nonprofit, if you'd like to make a donation to our foundation to help keep our programs going, as we don't charge a dime for our services, you can use our QR code that you see on the screen now, or just go to our website at heroesinaction.us and make a one-time or recurring donation, which covers all of our overhead expenses, our printing costs, so that we can continue providing our books and services and t-shirts for free. Speaking of t-shirts, again, if any of our viewers out there or listeners can make a Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve, wake Pluck Up America t-shirt with our little mascot here. I guess we could call him Clucky. I don't know, but no, that's for you guys to name our
Yes.
little chicken.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ray.
give
Ray, I
it,
think we're
give
gonna
it
have
a
to
name.
we're gonna have to do a separate commercial on that. A little
Yeah.
promotion. Yeah. And so what will the award winner get?
Well, it's an autographed book from one of your book series
Yeah,
and
that
one of
can work.
my book
That
series.
can work. We'll have to do a whole promo on that.
Yep.
So, all right, Ray. We got to keep this thing going. We've got so much stuff
Oh, oh,
to talk
oh.
about. Yes. So, all right. So, what else do we need to talk about? You know what? Back to Chicago for just a brief moment. Have you ever noticed? I'm sure you've heard the typical voting comments that have been used for many years regarding Chicago. vote early and vote often. When you
Sure.
stop and think about it, it has been under Democrat control for decades.
So, my comment would be to African Americans that have routinely voted Democrat because, well, my dad voted Democrat, my mom voted Democrat, my grandparents, my great grandparents, we've always voted Democrat. What has the Democratic Party done for you here lately? Are they actually stepping up to give you freedoms and good wages and good jobs and safe communities, and or are they just showing that they don't care?
Well, Ray,
Uh,
I've got another question for you, and I'm going to steal this from Dr. Phil McGraw. How's that working for you? Do you
exactly.
like going to bed at night in your home that has burglar bars on all of the windows and bullet holes in your house? You're afraid to have your kids go to sleep. The kids are never near the front of the house, so they can't get hit by drive-by shooters. They're always in the back someplace. How do you feel? Do you feel good not being able to walk to the store? Do you feel good when the stores in your neighborhood are being
And
closed down?
yes, that's just what I was gonna say. It's not just not being able to walk to the store, but not being able to go to a store or
Exactly.
a
Exactly.
drugstore or anything that's
Yeah.
closed down. That's now becoming an inconvenience for the elderly people that live in those communities that they can't afford to up and leave even if they wanted to.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So before too much longer, the Walmarts that are closing, the Targets that are closing, the other stores that are going to be closing, they're going to be boarded up, adding
Mm.
to more decline in those communities. So, and it's all because the crime is rampant because the Democrat rulers of the city, of the state, they don't care about the population. So, what's going to happen, Ray? I got to show this one again. What's going to happen? It's going to force more and more people into welfare. It's going to increase poverty, increase debt, and in our video a few minutes ago, Roman was sharing the fact that, wait a second, I thought guns were outlawed in much of
Chicago is the
Chicago.
most gun restrictive city in the country,
Yep.
and they have people just shooting off guns
Yeah.
willy-nilly.
Yeah. So what's going to happen to the education system there? What's going to happen to healthcare if you can't get to a doctor? Because there ain't no doctor with any good common sense that wants to open up a practice there. Why would they do that? So I mean, it's just
And they'll start attacking the churches as well,
yeah, it is all
if
class
it's not
warfare.
already happening.
It is all by design to destroy the city of Chicago, and that's what's happening in LA, in Portland, Oregon, in Seattle, Washington, in DC, in New York, in Philadelphia, etc. It's rampant around the country. And the common thread with all of these is they are all run by liberal Democrats. Every single one of them. So,
Now, there are good Democrats that are out there.
where?
We need them to
Where?
not be a chicken
Yeah, yeah, Ray, I'm
and
gonna
stand up
challenge
to the rest of their party
I- I'm
and
I'm going to
say enough
challenge
is
you on that.
enough.
I'm going to say they, they are they. There may be some Democrats out there. The problem with all of this stuff that's going on, it's by liberals, it's by progressives, it's by communists, it's by Marxists, it's by socialists, and they're not Democrats. So the problem is the Democrats have allowed the socialists and Marxists to take over the party. JFK would never have allowed
That's what
this.
I mean. The ones that are moderate
Yeah, but
Democrats,
there are only 7 of them left
I
in the
I
whole country. There are only
understand, but
7 left,
they
okay?
need to be vocal against the
Yeah, yeah.
rest.
So, all right.
Grow a
I'm gonna take
spine,
your word for it.
people.
I'm gonna take
Wake
your
the
word for it.
cluck up, America.
Oh, Ray, you are just too much. So what? Ray, I saw something on the news recently that I thought was kind of interesting. Um, Before I go to that, I want to share another cute little video that this may bring back some good memories for you, Ray. So check this out.
Welcome! Ha ha! Yes, it's my favorite time of the day again. What is the number of the daytime? Let's play the organ and find out, shall we? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Is it 4? 4, 5, 6. Not 4 or 5 or 6. Oh, well, the suspense is killing me. Let's get back. 7, 8. Could it be 9? 9. It's 9. 9. Oh, happy day. The number of the day is 9. Yes. And here are 9 nifty bats dressed to the nines. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ha! The number of the day is 9. Nifty 9.
You want to tell our listening and viewing audience why the heck we're watching and seeing Sesame Street? And what is the significance of the number 9?
9! The number 9! Well, Ray, I went to the news on the YouTube, and I looked at a video, and the video was from Larry Kudlow of Fox News Business, and he was interviewing Congressman James Comer about his recent efforts going to the Treasury Department to look at suspicious reports about the Biden family. Why don't we watch
Well, that was a better Russian accent there, comrade.
Check this one out, right?
Committee to the Treasury Department. You looked at it today, as I understand it, 150 suspicious activity reports. I guess this relates to the Hunter Biden business. Is there anything you can tell us about these suspicious activity reports? Did you learn things that were new?
We learned a lot that was new. The committee went there today, but I've had staff there over the past 2 weeks. There are thousands of pages of documents relating to financial transactions. And let me be very clear. This isn't just about the president's son or the president's brother. We've identified 6 new Biden family members involved in shady foreign transactions that we believe were a direct result of influence peddling. That brings the number of Biden family members now to 9 that were involved in the Biden family influence peddling, and we still have more family members that we suspect were involved. So this is a family affair. This is something that should be troubling to every American. And what we've learned from going through these records are there are a lot of additional LLCs, a lot of additional bank accounts that we didn't know prior to going to the Treasury Cabinet. So we've learned a lot. This investigation is ongoing, but I can tell you without hesitation, it's very serious, and the President of the United States is going to have a very hard time explaining how so many of his family members have received so much money from our adversaries around the world.
I'm
Number
really
today
confused.
is 9.
9 Biden family members.
So far. He says
And
there's more.
and nobody is, I mean, nobody's coming out and saying why or impeach
No.
Joe Biden, just like they did with Donald Trump, except they have evidence on Joe Biden and his family that
Yeah.
they are corrupt.
Yes, there's no question. There's no question. And Ray, the sad thing is, it has been widely reported, well, in conservative media posts, the liberals and Marxist media, they haven't reported on this, but 10% always goes to the big guy. And the big guy is currently residing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. So he is making millions of dollars based on corrupt trading and transactions with foreign governments. So what do you
You
think
know
about
what that
that?
makes? You know how that makes me feel? That
Tell me.
makes me sick to my stomach.
Oh, Ray, I'm so sorry. Well, why don't you slice off a little piece of chicken and have some chicken to maybe that'll soothe your very, very good. But that would be a rooster. Now that is
It
a
would be. I'm working on
male
making a
chicken.
chicken.
That is a male chicken for those people that are confused the difference between a
He
male and
could
a
be. He could
female.
identify as a female. You never know.
No, 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 no. Let's just no. Ray, we could do another whole program on that nonsense.
Maybe
So,
he identifies more like a peacock.
with that could very well be. So, just a little subtle reminder: this is an opinion-based program. So Ray, what do we as normal average Americans, what can we do to counter the corruption in the White House from the Bidens? And actually, before I go there, I want you to think about something. A lot of these transactions started 10, 15 years ago when
When he was a vice president.
he was the vice president, and actually some of it even before when he was a senator. Okay. So when he was the vice president, do you think anybody else would have known about some of these transactions?
Well, all of his staffers. I
Okay.
mean, a lot of the staffers have come out and
Okay.
were
But there's somebody else. Do you think his boss knew that was going on? And do you think his boss is getting some benefit from some of these transactions as well?
you mean Barack Hussein Obama?
Barry himself.
I'm sure they are.
How in the world
But
could
that's
Biden?
opinion. That's
Yeah,
opinion.
that is an opinion, but how in the world could Biden keep all of these transactions away from his boss? His boss had to know about all of the stuff that was going on. Yes, that is my opinion. Okay. But I don't see how it's possible that Obama did not know. And frankly, my opinion was he was complicit.
But you have a few whistleblowers that have come forward that worked under Hunter or worked
Y-
with Hunter Biden and Joe
Yeah,
Biden.
but they're
And
only implicating Biden. For whatever reason, they're not implicating the Obamas in any of this stuff. So I pose this to you. Joe Biden has multiple estates, and these aren't cheap estates. Okay, these are very expensive estates, $750,000 and up. And our former president, before Mr. Trump, has a very large estate on Martha's Vineyard. How
Hawaii, don't forget Hawaii.
and Hawaii, okay? But how does somebody get those kinds of estates based on his annual income? Now, granted, his retirement income is still there, and it's not all about book sales. But what are the other revenue streams that he has as well?
They do lectures and charge thousands of dollars, if not more, just
Okay,
to speak for an hour.
right. Martha's Vineyard, I believe, was around $10 million. That's a lot of speeches.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, let's go back to the Bidens. Nine. The number today is 9. That's the number of Biden family members that have already been identified by James Comer and his committee. When is the left wing media going to start talking about the corruption that's going on?
Never.
Well, exactly. Even though it is factual, they have all of the evidence. Ray, do you know what suspicious activity reports are?
Well, I think when their ratings go further into the dump is when they might actually start reporting news factually.
Possibly. Possibly. All right, let's go.
When they lose so much money like Disney that they might actually start changing their tone.
Like Disney
Or
and
Budweiser.
Anheuser-Busch, and yeah, exactly. So, all right. So a SAR, suspicious activity report, is a mandatory report that banks have to send to the Treasury Department when there is suspicious activity. And one of the things, I didn't play the whole clip, but one of the things that James Comer was saying was banks that have been dealing with the Biden family, they're seeing transactions, money that's being dumped into LLCs, and these LLCs had no money in there, and all of a sudden they've got $10 million that's in there, or $3 million that's in there, or $13 million, or whatever the numbers are. And so the banks have to report those things, and they have to report also the source of that income. Well, what's happening is not just the Chinese, but you've got the Russians and you've got the Ukrainians and so forth, and oligarchs and other criminal organizations from around the world that are funneling money into these LLCs that are all owned by the Bidens. Thus, red flags 150 SARS so far that I've heard about. And
Wow.
James Comer is getting to take a look at all of these bank records, and thus the red flags are coming up. So, it's the Bidens, and so it's insane stuff that's going on, absolutely insane stuff. So what do we do?
It is. It is. Well, I mean, we just got to keep hoping that more whistleblowers come out and, um, America wakes the cluck up
Yep.
and starts seeing the Biden administration and everyone connected to it for what they really
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, and Ray, frankly, we need to pray for people like James Comer and Jim Jordan and Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and so many others that are on the front lines. Because I would not be at all surprised if some of them would be suicided. I mean, they've got to have security that is so incredibly strong, because every time they turn over a rock, they find out something else about the Bidens or others in the liberal side of our government,
Right.
and the socialists and Marxists and communists, and these guys. I don't think they are afraid. I think they're probably concerned for their safety and their family's safety, but they've got to have incredible security. So that sounds like a job for Ray Almanont.
Yeah, I would
Go and
love that job.
be chief
Um,
of surgery. So
We need to go to a commercial break
we do,
for
as a
the
matter of fact.
OBDM
Yes,
network.
we do. Let me see if I can find our little promo here. Here we go.
Now your DFW events can be listed on the DFW events segment of OBBM Network News. New episodes posted each week are reaching people right here in your own backyard. Get in on this. Now it's affordable to reach thousands of people in new markets, offering exposure to your professional network like never before. Get us your listing by Tuesday at noon, and you'll be included in the following week's release on Monday. Email info@offbeatbusiness.com for our digital media kit and discover a better way to reach DFW. Not hosting events? Your business will benefit from the exposure our events list generates. Take advantage of brand exposure on the ticker or with the logo graphic, video advertisement, even a QR code. Click on our QR code to access our digital media kit now.
And that is the OBBM network, and it is growing like crazy. They're bringing on new personalities. They're branching out. I understand they have a very strong presence in Orlando, not too far from you.
Sure.
So they're growing. So we are blessed to be part of the OBBM network.
And if you'd like to be an advertiser on our show or any of the other shows that they're promoting, like we said, give us send us a message, send us an email, get a hold of us. we'd be happy to take you down that road on helping promote your business, products, or services.
And they can send an email to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve at gmail.com.
Yes, they can.
Yes, they can. So, Ray, what else is going on?
I know we were talking earlier about the history of communism, socialism, Marxism, and how it's kind of got its tentacles into every facet. I mean, you have China has their own police force conducting business
In
out of
major
New
cities.
York.
Yeah, all over the
And
country.
other parts of the country. God
Yeah,
knows what else they have their
yeah,
fingers in.
yeah. It's communist China that has their own police force. It's insane. It is absolutely insane what's going on.
It's like they're waiting for the collapse of our government so they can just all step in
Uh,
and take over, which is why the open borders that we have, how many people from China are coming over now?
it-
And
it-
what are their connections?
Ray, here,
These are questions that I have.
yes, inquiring minds want to know. And I am curious, how does somebody from China get across the Pacific Ocean to be able to come into our southern border? How does somebody from Haiti or from Venezuela or Colombia or wherever, how do they get up to the Mexican US border? I that's beyond me, unless somebody is assisting them and transporting them. So are the communist Chinese sending plane loads of people into Mexico City or some remote airstrip, and then
Well,
they're being
if
bussed up
they're
there?
taking a big part of the fentanyl for drug trafficking, and they send all the drugs, and then they send their people with the drugs,
Yeah.
and they have a deal with the cartels, and the cartels are just going to help smuggle the drugs and the people over. And God knows what type of, how many farms have the Chinese government purchased that are near military bases,
Yeah.
and why?
Uh, Ray, there's another thing to consider also. A few months ago, we had a Chinese spy balloon that went across the U.S. I thought it was a distraction. And okay, they were collecting information. It has been reported that yes, they did collect information, but there have been multiple spy balloons that have gone across the United States. So
Right.
there is such a conspiracy against us because the United States, a whole and wholesome United States, is a threat to the rest of the world. Now, let me rephrase, a threat to the deep state that wants control of the rest of the world. Yes. And what does Mr. Chicken say, or Ms. Chicken, or he, she chicken, or they, them chicken? Exactly.
It's a
I
cry for help saying,
I could not
America,
I could not agree with
wake
you
the
more.
cluck up.
I could not agree with you more. It's pretty sad. So, Ray, I don't want to be the bearer of bad tidings with the entire show. We got to have some good stuff that's going on also. What good is going on? You've got
Well,
another event coming up soon in St. Louis, don't you?
we have an event that I am doing for a private school that they have me out every year. I've been working with them for about 16 years now, and it's a personal protection program for their
Good for you.
6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. I'll be there all week long. I'm doing a boxing camp for one of my fighters that
Cool.
started his own boxing school. Well, we interviewed him, Emil, like
Emil, yes, I remember Emil.
boxing.
Yeah.
He's got his boxing gym set up, and um, since I kind of helped him along with his boxing career, he's bringing me in to do a camp for all of his students or fighters that he's. Um,
I heard that he's having some issues these days. He's getting kind of punchy.
no, no, that's how he's
Oh,
always
right,
been.
right.
I know. But this weekend, Friday and Saturday here in Florida, we're doing, it's an event called the Stand Down event that's put on by
The chickens.
the paperwork. It's put on by the One Community Now, and it's an event for homeless or struggling veterans where they're going to have dentists, hairdressers, lawyers, everyone there to kind of give them support or give them some help so that they can kind of get back on their feet and become productive in the communities that they live in.
Ray, you need to get in touch with J.R. Smith and see if he wants to come over. He's not that far away from you in Lakeland, and maybe he could do some stuff with the Veterans Ranch.
Yes, that would have been nice, but they've already got this whole outline of vendors. But JR, if you're listening, get a hold of me. I can still connect you with this organization, and they do things all year round, and they would probably love to work with you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Ray, the hour has come that we need to wrap things up and say hasta la bye-bye. But once again, it's been a blast. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell your friends about us. Sponsor us. We'd love to come and visit with you. We'd love to go on stage with you.
Absolutely.
Have us out. Ray, any closing thoughts?
Wake up, America. Wake the cluck up. Just stay informed. Stay informed.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Be good, Benny. See ya.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. If you have suggestions for topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to become a sponsor, reach out to us today at tabootalkwithrayansteve@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out the other amazing programs on OBBM Network on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Join us again for another fun and informative opinion-based episode. This is Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.